Hi everyone, my name's Anita and this is 5 Minute Travel. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm really glad you're here today. And today I'm going to be talking about something that's really important if you are going to Europe, and that thing is trains and train travel. Because if you're going to Europe, chances are you are going to be using a train at some point. There are so many different detailed things that I could talk about today in this video, but I think for this one, I'm going to just keep it really simple and talk about three things. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is why would you choose to take a train in Europe when you can just fly? The second thing I'm going to talk about is when should you buy those train tickets if you do plan on taking a train within Europe? And finally, I'm going to show you a screen recording today of the process that you go through to purchase tickets. And I'm going to show you a way to purchase tickets today that is extremely easy and seamless in Europe. Whether you are sticking with one train company and one train system in a single country, or whether you're taking a journey that takes you across multiple countries and multiple train systems, because that is when things can get very tricky when it comes to train travel. So let's go ahead and get started, first of all, with why on earth would you take a train when you can just fly? Now, if there's anything in this video today that you're not interested in, just please feel free to scroll forward to the part at the end where I show you how to actually purchase the tickets. But what I'm going to start with today is why I choose train travel probably 80% of the time when I'm in Europe. A lot of people when they go to Europe don't understand how efficient the train system is there. And there are a few reasons that I prefer trains over flying when I'm in Europe. Now, there are a couple of really big reasons that I prefer it. And the first one is this: getting out to an airport is a time and expense that can eat up a lot of your precious vacation time. Most airports in Europe are between 30 and 60 minutes outside the city limits. You have to get into a taxi or public transportation, and then you have to get to the airport 90 minutes early, and there you go, you've just eaten up 2.5 hours of your day. Trains, on the other hand, are city center to city center. You only have to be at the train station 15 to 20 minutes before the train departure time, because they don't even post the track numbers until 10 to 15 minutes before the departure time. So at most, you have a short public transport ride or very short taxi ride to get to a train station in the city that you're in, and it's the same thing on the other end. There's no hassle of getting from the airport back into town. You simply walk out of the train station, catch a taxi, or even better, sometimes you can even just walk to wherever you're staying. So I think it saves a lot of time because it is city center to city center. Now, here's the other reason that I really like train travel in Europe. And the other thing is my luggage is with me. I know where it is. Seems like everybody nowadays when they fly is throwing an air tag in their luggage because they don't know if their luggage is going to make it, and they want to be sure that they can see where their luggage is at all times. When you ride a train, your luggage is either with you right there at the seat, in the overhead above your head, or in one of the luggage racks at the end of the train car. And if you play your cards right, you can sit in a spot where you can see your luggage in that luggage rack. And you know that it's with you because you have brought it on yourself, and you can see it right there all the time. To me, that is a huge, huge stress relieving part of train travel. Now, there's other little reasons that I really, really like traveling by train. Number one, it is a comfortable ride. Trains are engineered to be smooth, and they are fantastic. The seats are comfortable. You have a lot of leg room. Sometimes you even have a fun little table and a cup holder and a light and all those little luxuries, things that you don't often have when you're flying on a little airline within Europe. There are also snacks and drinks often available. Sometimes there's a trolley that comes down the middle of aisle of the car and somebody is selling snacks and drinks off that. And sometimes there's a bar car in the train and you can just walk around and you can find that sometimes. I also just like the ability to be able to get up, walk around as much as I want, wherever I want, and explore. And then finally, the bathrooms are just better, right? They're large, they're comfortable, usually they're quite clean these days, and I just far prefer the experience of actually riding on a train as opposed to a plane. Now, the final reason is more just an experience reason. Train travel is just the classic way of getting around Europe. And personally, I think that train stations are amazingly beautiful structures, some more so than others. But some of my favorite buildings in Europe are actually the train stations. Some of them have glass roofs on the inside. Some have grand statues on the outside with towers, and they're just spectacular. So honestly, I think it's an event to take a train in Europe, and I would highly encourage you to take one if you have never done it before. So the second thing I'll talk about today is when to buy your ticket. Now, before I discuss that, one thing to say here is that people tell me all the time, isn't it a lot cheaper just to fly within Europe? Well, besides the fact of all the time that it takes to do that, the answer to that question is not necessarily. Airlines now charge you for just about everything. They charge you to pick your seat. They charge you to bring on a carry-on. They charge you even more for checked luggage. And nowadays, a lot of airlines even charge you for eating something on the plane. So by the time you rack up those costs, plus getting to the airport and from the airport, oftentimes it ends up being cheaper to take a train. And the way to get inexpensive train fare is really to book your tickets for trains as far ahead of time as you can. If you can get the tickets right when they go on sale, you are going to save 60 to 70% off of the fare that you would pay if you wait until the last minute. Even a month or 3 weeks beforehand, you're going to pay a whole lot more than if you bought the tickets right when they went on sale. And I'm not kidding when I say 60 to 70% cheaper. So that's one thing that you should think about when you're purchasing your tickets. Now, another good thing about purchasing tickets ahead of time is that you can pick your seat if it's a long distance train. I like to do that because, again, I like to see where my luggage is in the luggage rack. And I also want to make sure I'm facing forward. I want to get a chair that has a table. I have a lot of little criteria that I have when I'm booking a plane ticket. So getting that ticket ahead of time, you have the ability to pick your seat, your train car, and a lot of other things. So the other last thing here that you can do if you get your ticket ahead of time is you can often get a first class or a business class seat for just a few euros more than a regular seat in regular economy class on a train. I have paid as little as 10 euros to get an upgrade to a first class seat before when booking my tickets ahead of time. And to me, that makes it worth it. There are fewer people in the car, you get a wider seat, you get better amenities at your seat. Sometimes it comes with free food and drink, depending on the train line that you're on. So honestly, buying your tickets as far ahead as possible is a really important thing to do. So the third part of the video today, I'm going to share with you the company that I use to buy my tickets in Europe, and that's Trainline. And one of the reasons that I use them as opposed to other companies is they're not a reseller or consolidator. They don't buy up big blocks of tickets and then resell them for a profit, which is what a lot of these companies do. Trainline is directly tied to 270 train companies in Europe over 45 countries. And when you buy a ticket through Trainline, it's exactly like buying a ticket through the company itself. Trainline buys the ticket in real time on your behalf, and your ticket simply exists in their system. If you ever have a problem with a ticket in Europe and your train is canceled or something happens and you need help with your ticket, you can go straight to the ticket window in whatever country that is, and they are going to help you because the ticket is bought directly from them rather than from a consolidator, which by that point, they can't help you. So Trainline is directly tied to the companies, and it's as if you're buying from the companies directly yourself. Something else I really like about Trainline is they use AI to find the best itineraries for whatever route it is that you want. And the more complicated your route, the better it is to use them. I can find much better routes through the Trainline algorithms than I can find, say, through the SNCF algorithm. I tend to get better routes with fewer changes and less out-of-the-way itineraries when I go through the Trainline app. They just seem to have a better way of finding the routes, especially if you're doing a multi-country, multiple train company itinerary. Now, something else I really like about Trainline is how you get your tickets. When you buy your tickets through Trainline, they pop up right in the app as a QR code. So you can either just use the QR code right there in the app and show that to the train official who comes down the aisle to take your tickets, or you can also have them in a couple places. You can have them in the app. You can also put them in your Apple Wallet, which is very easy to do. And if you are a paper person, you can also print them out at home and you can have your tickets in your bag or wherever you like to store your paper tickets. The last thing I'll talk about with Trainline before I show you how to interface with it is the cost. A lot of the consolidators and resellers charge quite a lot for tickets in Europe. For example, Rail Europe, for every single ticket with every single company that you have, regardless of whether it's on a single itinerary, they're going to charge you €6.95 per separate ticket. Trainline charges at most 3% for an entire itinerary, even if they're on separate train systems and separate tickets. I looked back last year for the 22 separate tickets that I had purchased through Trainline, and there was one where I bought 2 tickets at $202 total, and I think my fee was just around $3, which I think for the convenience of this app is very well worth it. So finally today, I am going to show you how to navigate the Trainline website. Now, Trainline also has an app that is just as seamless as the website. So today I'm going to show you how do you put together an itinerary in Trainline and what are some of the things to look for that can help you get the best possible itinerary for the best possible price within their system. So let's take a look. So when you first get onto Trainline, it's going to give you a home screen. At the top, if there's any alerts for rail travel, it's going to let you know there. So for example, this is about a rail strike that's happening in the UK in just a few days. I'm recording this on May 8th, and this is a strike that's anticipated. So if you click on that, it's going to give you detailed information. And Trainline will give you information about any kind of possible interruptions in rail travel. But what I want to show you is how the system is navigated. So when you go on, it looks a lot like any other kind of website where you are booking travel. But when you're booking trains, there are some subtleties that are a little bit different. So what I want to show you first is a really popular route from Paris, France, down to the beach at Nice. Everybody and their dog takes this route, and in the summertime it becomes very popular. Now, when you're leaving from Paris, there are a bunch of different train stations in Paris, and you can see here that there are many of them listed. You can't just take any train from any station to any destination. The trains in Paris are sent out from various stations, and they all send trains in different directions. And that makes it hard to book train travel on your own because it's hard to know which station you want. But Trainline will take care of that for you. If I just click Paris, because I'm not sure which station, and I want to go to Nice, I am just going to choose the names of those towns, and it is going to help me find the right train. So I'm going to go to the 29th of July. Now it's May 8th, and July 29 seems really, really far in the distant future, but guess what? It really isn't when it comes to travel within Europe. This is when the French holiday season begins. All the French people shut down their businesses and they all take off. That usually starts the last week of July. And a lot of people like to head down to the south to go to the beach. And you'll see that the prices and the choice of trains is very much reflected in that fact. You'll notice here that when we look at this first page, we're going to see a few things. So at the top, you're going to see train and you're going to see coach. Now, this is a UK-based site, so train means train and coach actually means bus. And when we look down below here, we can see several things. The departure time, the arrival time, the length of the journey, and how many train changes you need. If it says one change, that means you're going to get part way to your destination, you're going to get off the train, and you're going to get on another train to continue to your final destination. If it is 0 changes, which is the ideal of what we want, you just get on a train and you get off at the other end. So this one looks really good to me. A lot of the other ones with 0 changes, I can see that those trains are already fully booked. This is a popular time for people to go to the south, and you'll notice that the prices are also quite high. So this is something to really think about when you're booking tickets, you have to do it ahead of time, because look what happens to your choices and your prices when you just go 1 month further into the future. Let's go to August 29th. So when you get to August 29th, you can see instantly that the prices have dropped significantly. And I like this price right here, $33.48, 8:22 departure, 2:02 in the afternoon arrival, no changes. But then my eye goes right here. Aha. This is the kind of thing that I like to see. $40 for standard fare, but only $7 more for first class. That is what I like. So let's go over here and take a look. I'm going to click on first class, and I'm going to take a look over here at what I get for this. I get a TGV high-speed train leaving from, now we know the station, Gare de Lyon. Power outlet, Wi-Fi, bistro car. Food and drink is on this train. This is a good deal. So this would be a train that I would really consider. I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like when you say continue to the next step. On the next page, it's going to tell you how much control you have over the seat that you're going to get on the train. And when I look here, I see, I can get my seat for free. I've chosen first class, and frequently with first class, it's free to choose your seat. So now we're going to have the configuration of the train. Here is carriage 1. This is the nose of the train going forward. Here is the luggage storage at the end of the train. There's a couple places you can store luggage. Any seat with a number left over in it is available still. Any seat with a slash, it's already been taken. Now you'll notice a lot of the seats are taken, but here we have these gray squares. Now these gray squares actually represent tables. So these are two facing seats. The little gray rim right here is the seat back. So we have the seat backs and the table in between. Now, I always like to watch my luggage when I'm on a train. I stick it in the rack, but I want to be able to see it. So what I want to do is get two things. I want to get a seat and I want that is facing my luggage, and I also want to get a seat that's facing a table. Now, I'm not too happy with this one right here. Seat 31 would be okay. I can see my luggage, I think, just fine. But I'm going to look at the other end of the train car to see if there's one I like better. Now, seat 36 also is facing the luggage right here, and that's fine. I can go to carriage 2. But one of the things up here that you can also see is that there's a choice between downstairs and upstairs. I like the upstairs. The view is far better. So what I like on the upstairs is to get a single seat on the side of the train that has just the single seats that is in a spot where I can see my luggage. Now, this is an okay seat, but my back is to the luggage. So I'm going to go to the other end of the car, and I'm going to see if there's a seat where I can see my luggage from that side and that has a table. So seat 86 right here has a table. My companion can sit facing me, and I can still see my luggage. So that's a really good deal. Now what I'm going to do is show you another alternative here, because sometimes there is no choice but to have at least one change. So I'm going to choose a smaller place. I'm going to choose a place called Le Puy-en-Velay. Le Puy-en-Velay is a popular place from which a lot of people do long distance walks in southern France. Now, when I go to search that on August 29th, I'm going to see here that there are again some options. So the prices aren't too bad. This is a fairly long train journey, but you'll notice that there are no possible trains that have 0 changes. I'm going to have to change at least once. So that's what I'm going to look for. I'm going to look for a train that has 1 change and where I can get a first class seat for not too much more than a standard class. And I think I like this one right here. Leaves at almost 8 o'clock, gets there at 12:30, 4.5 hours, 1 change, $82 standard, $89 first class. So I'm going to click that train. Now, because I have a change, that's going to show me some details about that over here when I click on the right. TGV high-speed train, same amenities, and it's going to tell me the town that I'm transferring trains in. So I'm going to take the train from Paris, Gare de Lyon, to Saint-Étienne, Château-Creux. I'm going to get off the train in Saint-Étienne, and I have 17 minutes to get to the next train. And that train number is 889956, and that's what I'm going to look for on the departure board to see what platform my train is going to leave from. I also notice that it's changed from TGV to TER. TGV is the high-speed train, TER is the local train that's going to stop at every single station along the way. And when you go to smaller places in France, that's going to be the case. So I just wanted you to see how you can check to see how much transfer time you have when you have to change trains mid-route. Now we're going to look at one other train system here because this was SNCF in France. I'm now going to show you the Italian rail system. You only have two choices in Italy. You have a choice between Trenitalia, which is the government-run system, and Italo, which is a private train system. And what I'm going to do is show you one other train system just so that you can see that there are some differences in train line between train systems. And you can already see here, we've got a little Italian rail service logo at the top, and it's going to give us some options. Now, if I'm going from Rome to Milan, you'll notice here that it says Frecciarossa. Freccia trains are the high-speed trains in Italy. And the Rome to Milan route is a super, super popular route because you'll see it's direct and there are no changes, and you've got trains going every 10, 20, 30 minutes from Rome to Milan. It's a very popular route. Now, what I'm going to look for here is a good departure time with very little difference between standard and first class. And I kind of like this one right here. Leaves at 8:10, direct train, high-speed train, 34 for standard, 46 for first class. That's a big difference when you look at the surrounding prices. So I'm going to click on first class here. And when I look at this, you can immediately see the difference between Italian trains and French trains. Italian trains are much nicer. Wi-Fi, you have an electrical socket, you have a bistro car with food and drinks. They're going to bring you a morning newspaper. They're going to bring you free drinks and snacks. And there's also an entertainment portal that you can use with your device. That's really, really nice. So I'm going to take a look here. Now we're going to see some of the differences in between these systems. A seat in an Italian train, to choose one, even in business or first, it's going to cost you money to choose it, but it's not much at all. It's just a couple of dollars. And the difference in layout in the trains is also going to be a little bit different. Here's the front nose of the train, but you'll notice there's no luggage storage. Lots and lots of free seats still. We have our table setups here. Here's a little square table. You've got a four-top here with two seats on each side facing each other, but you'll notice the absence of a luggage rack. That's because on most Italian trains, you're not going to find one. There's going to be an overhead slot that's quite wide that will fit carry-on suitcases very easily and even smaller checked baggage. And between the seats, the back-to-back seats, there's also enough space to slide suitcases in. So your luggage stays right with you generally. Now, one of the other nice things about Italian trains is when you've chosen your class, on Trainline, you can scroll down and you can see that there are actually even multiple kinds of first and business class seats. If you just choose first class, you're going to get a business class seat. Leather armchairs, really nice, comfortable. You can also get a silent car where people are asked to be very quiet, and they are quiet most of the time. And then there are higher classes as well that cost additional money, and the more you pay, the better the experience is. So Italian trains are really quite a nice deal. Now, when you go to the Trainline homepage and you scroll down, there are other things that are really informative as well that'll really help you with train travel. Trainline has a great app, and I use it constantly in Europe to adjust my reservations, to book local trains that don't need a reservation ahead of time, and also just to play around if my itinerary is loose and I'm not sure where I want to go next. The app is excellent. It's very simple. It's almost simpler even than the website. But if I go down a little bit farther, this is a feature that I really like. You can click UK or you can click Europe, and it's going to show you the most popular routes in each of these areas. When you go to the Europe one, though, it's going to give you the most popular routes within mainland Europe, but over here is the part that I really like. You can click on any country and get more information about the specific rail system in that country. Now, there are 45 countries that Trainline deals with, and you can find this on their website for most of them. For Germany, for example, it's going to give you all the information here about the German rail system. How do you buy tickets? How far in advance do you need to buy them, depending on the kind of ticket? And then at the bottom, I really like it too, because they give you a map of the major routes in the entire system. So it gives you a really sense of where you can go within a rail system. And it also shows you where it goes outside of their country and merges with other rail systems. So you can take German rail into France, into the Czech Republic, and into Austria without changing trains, as long as you're not too far from the borders. So this is just another nice feature that Trainline has that I really enjoy. Now, the last piece that I like about this is with Trainline, you're not going to have trouble with your credit card. I often try to buy tickets directly from the rail companies in each individual country, but I've found that very frustrating because often it won't take my card for whatever reason. Some people have good luck with that, and some people don't. I'm in the don't category, and so I often just go to Trainline to buy my tickets. In fact, I've just stopped trying to buy tickets on the rail systems because I like having all my tickets in one place in my Apple Wallet or in the app, and I can just have them all right there for whenever I hop on and hop off of a train. So thanks for watching today, and I hope the information that I've given you has been useful. I hope that you try trains in Europe, and if you have any questions or anything to add to what I've said, please go ahead and put them in the comments down below. And I've also put a link down below to the Trainline app for you in case you want to take a look and maybe even buy some tickets for yourself. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.